Hello and welcome to today's episode of Women Matter, brought to you by the Nidari Foundation with support from Action Aid Nigeria. On this program, we discuss women issues with a focus on sexual and gender-based violence. This program promises to be educative and very informative. My name is Obiano Ju, and on today's episode, we'll be taking a very personal topic: psychological violence. Psychological violence, often called emotional abuse, is any form of abuse characterized by a person subjecting or exposing another person to any behavior that may lead to mental or emotional harm. This includes defamation, coercion, verbal insults or harassment. The effects of psychological violence could include anxiety, chronic depression or post-traumatic stress disorder, confusion, fear, hopelessness, insomnia, rage, loneliness, and shame. I personally have been a victim of psychological violence and also a survivor. For a long period of time, I was exposed to emotional violence, which include degrading talks, hurtful words were hurled at me. At some point, I internalized it and began to believe it. It was a very horrible experience for me in the sense that it affected my personal relationship. Because of my belief in my inadequacy and low self-esteem, I was prone to being aggressive or using rage to cover my sense of inadequacy. And this was very devastating and horrible to my personal relationship with people. It took a lot of therapy and therapists to be able to undo the harm that psychological abuse had done to me mentally. And I can assure you, psychological violence can be as devastating or even more than other forms of violence. It may not necessarily hurt your body, but it is as distressing and as painful as other forms of violence. Psychological abuse and violence should not be tolerated at all. It is a direct violation of your right to life, your right to health, your right to be free from all forms of degradation, your right to personal security and freedom. It is a violation of your right to not be exposed to cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment. Do you know anyone who is suffering from psychological abuse? Or are you yourself suffering from psychological violence? Please reach us on the numbers on the screen for aid and support that you need to undo the harm that this does. Because I can assure you, it is devastating and the harms can be long-lasting. Remember, this program was brought to you by the Nidari Foundation with support from Action Aid Nigeria. I'm Obiano Ju, and I hope to see you on our next program.